I think it's really interesting. We're going through a point in our lives right now in the history of this country that I hope we never see again. The pandemic comes in. We had more people that were unemployed in the history since like the Great Depression. Mm-hmm. And now our unemployment rate is super low again, which is kind of weird because things aren't fully open again, and there are more jobs available than we've ever seen in the history of this country. And when there's a plethora of jobs, the younger generation will work. They'll be late. They're not loyal because they know they can find another job, which is really sad. Because if my ass was late at Kentucky Fried Chicken, I would have felt, first of all, I would have felt horrible about it because I'm letting down my teammates and I'm letting down the business, and my dad would have whipped my ass. And now, I've been, people are working a couple of weeks. I don't like it. I'm going to go across the street, make the same money, and go work there. And it's real unfortunate because a lot of people, including ourselves, we don't have this issue because we're small staffed. But these small businesses that count on their employees to show up to work, to serve, and it's really the restaurant industry is getting stoked.
Yeah.
But eventually, everything's it's kind of like a gold sifter. We're going to sift all these knuckleheads out, and eventually we're going to see what's left. And there's being a major correction right now in our economy and certainly in our job markets. And eventually there's going to be some people that quit those jobs.
Yeah.
That are going to want them jobs back because things are going to dry up. Things are going to get back to normal. I don't know when that is. And all of a sudden, they're going to come back with their tails between their legs. So just be careful what you wish for right now. And you throw in the influx of child payments, and the government's trying to bail everything out. And I think we're to the point now where we're adults. We're big boys and girls here. And it's time to get back to business. It's time to start doing the right thing again, not expect handouts. I understand there's some people that really got hurt, and I understand that. There's also people that have gotten PPP loans. They're buying Lamborghinis, which pisses me off. But eventually, we're going to have to realize that we have to be responsible for our own actions, responsible for taking care of our own families, be responsible for ourselves. And I hope we get to that point where things kind of, do I'm making sense here?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I just think there's a lot of flipping loafers right now.
Yeah.
There's jobs everywhere. And then I'm giving $1 to a guy playing an accordion. I'm like, you can go in there and make $17 an hour if you really want the money. Everyone's trying to get by and do it and try to get as much help as they possibly can. And it's all going to come out. Eventually, all this shit's going to dry up. The money's going to dry up. Right now, it's that time
for money. Yeah, but listen, I do think this. Everybody talks about getting back to normal. We're not going to get back to normal. I'm going to tell you right now. By definition,
depends on what your normal is.
Normal, if you say normal was the way that it was before.
But I mean, we talk about economically, we're talking about personally, we're talking about your family, we're talking about jobs. What are we talking about? Normal's too broad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But normal,
we're never back to normal. There is no normal.
There you go.
Yesterday's normal is not the same as today's normal.
That's what I was trying to get.
I got the same damn routine I did yesterday from yesterday, but there's no life ain't normal.
There you go.
There is no normal.
That's what I wanted you to say.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you can't get a little comfortable.
That's adaptation.
Adapt or perish.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you can't get comfortable or like what you're doing, but every day's different.
Yes.
There is no normal. Well, the minute you start thinking things are normal, that's when God throws you a curve. Okay, you think this is normal?
But you're saying exactly what I've been trying to say, which is we're not going to get back to.
Yeah.
We are going to move on. No. But one of the things that I see with employers, and I understand what you're saying, and this to me this goes back to the sort of the Ben Simmons thing. Look,
you got a lot of people taking advantage of, and we're allowing that. We're enabling people by influxing money into different things and getting tax breaks and all these things. But eventually, we're going to have to pay the piper, and eventually, unemployment's going to dry up, and unfortunately, and so eventually. What I'm saying is it's going to get back to the normal way of if you want your ass to have a TV or put food on the table for your kid, you're going to have to go back to work and you're going to have to take that job that you may not like. Right now, people are like, well, I've got it.
But what I'm saying, but here's what I'm also saying. I agree with you there. But I'm also saying what this pandemic has done has caused employers, people who have businesses to say, I got to think about what it is, how I run my business in order to do two things. One, obviously to sell my goods and services to make money. Mm-hmm. But in order to do that, how to get and keep good employees, right? I mean, that's been a long time. You always want to get and keep good employees. You don't want high turnover unless the job is such that when you're turning over quickly, you don't need a whole lot of ramp up time.
Yeah.
Okay. But what this pandemic has done is it has forced employers to answer the question around things like, and I can do the whole thing. Why do we need to be here in person? Do we need to do a curbside delivery? Should that be our primary thing? Should we, we need to have everyone back in the restaurant. Do we? Do we have to have them back in the restaurant? Or do we need to do half and half, curbside and not? What are work schedules like? All of these things, because here's what's happening. You want to be competitive in the marketplace? The companies who are sort of moving out ahead are the ones that are going, if we make this, and not just financially, if we make this environment good so that we get the best people, then the best people will come. And the difference is because there's so many jobs, and this is the whole millennial thing, but I don't believe it's just a millennial thing. You should be loyal to your employer for two reasons. One, they are offering you something that you see is valuable, money and an experience, whatever your job is. You should be loyal to them for that, and you should be loyal loyal from a respect standpoint.
Yep.
But I am here to say, and I've said this a long time, if this job is not what you want, you do not have to stay just out of loyalty.
You can do whatever you want, but I will say this. As we adapt and we change, what I'm seeing in the restaurant industry specifically, and that's what it seems like where a lot of these jobs are, they are like, okay, we used to run a restaurant. They know exactly what they used to make, how many meals they used to serve, and how many people they had on the floor. All right, so we used to have 12 servers. Now we can only employ 6 because we can't find 6 others.
No, I agree with you.
And because we don't have service, we're not getting as many customers, so we don't need 12.
Right.
So there's 6 jobs. We got to figure out how to make up the difference. So what they're doing is they're either doing curbside or now like a Jim and Nick's, you don't sit down at your table anymore. You walk up like a concession.
Yes.
Where you walk up, you order your meal at a booth, which I hate because if I'm going to go to a restaurant, this is not Golden Corral.
Yeah, no,
I don't want to have to order my stuff. I like to sit down, have my tea, talk to my waitress, and do my thing. And that's not Archie Bunker. That's the restaurant. That's service. That's the industry.
No, but because it's a different experience.
Or else I'll go to the damn drive-through.
Right.
Okay. So if all these places, these brick and mortars, these restaurants where we want to have these experiences doing that, so what's going to happen is these businesses are going to realize, okay, we don't need to employ as many people as we have, and those jobs are going to start to dry up. So if that's something that you've wanted to do and maybe you don't have a college education, you work at Jim and Nick's or a Full Moon or wherever, then all of a sudden they're going to go, sorry, we don't have anything.
We're not hiring.
We changed it, and we don't need you anymore.
Yes.
We closed off half of our dining room because we can't have people sitting there. And so that's that new normal that's going to be coming. So, for people that, I don't know, I if I'm going to commit to something, I'm going to do it the best I possibly can. I'm an angel. I'm not perfect. But if I'm going to take a job and I'm going to go through the interview process and I'm going to take a job, the least I'm going to do is I'm going to work it out for a while. Now, I understand there may be something that comes out a week later that pays 3 times, and I would go to my boss and say, but not showing up to work on time, not giving a shit, and not giving good service because I know there's another job across the street. It's just totally moralistically wrong.
But and it's immature. This is, again, I'm going to go back.
Then don't take the job.
No, or don't take the job, or leave the job on respectful terms.
Yeah.
Right? So this is, again, this is Ben Simmons. You want out? Then have a discussion about getting out. Now, again, I don't know. Maybe it is. And it's a little bit different there because we're keeping you under contract and all those kinds of things. But that is, my point is you owe it to another human being to be respectful to them because they're another human being. Yep. You don't owe it. You just said it. You don't owe it to stay in the job just because you've been there for 3 years. And I think that changed in the early 80s. That was the downsizing of America kind of thing. And I hear employers a lot talk about whiny millennials.
Yeah.
Millennials, they're always complaining. I don't like it. Well, why do you think they're doing that? Because there's opportunities for them to do other things. Yeah. There's opportunity that, you know what? They don't have to work for your company.
They don't.
No, but at the same time, some, not all.
Yeah, but you also need to realize that the next job they're going to ask for a resume. Why the hell were you only there for 2 weeks?
I get that.
Well, there's something across the street, or I showed up late. Okay.
But that's
if you got someone that's worked 6 different jobs in a year, they're going to ask that question. Why the hell do you? And I'm just telling you, it's going to catch up with everyone that's not doing it right. I'm not saying everyone's doing it wrong. I'm not saying that.
If you work 6 jobs, yes. If you work 6 jobs in 2 years.
Back in our day, and I don't think people appreciate this enough. It was a blessing when you got a job.
Mm-hmm.
When I remember the first time I got a job, I was so thankful. I was on my knees at Kentucky Fried Chicken. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to give you a service and get paid for it.
But that's you and your work ethic.
And I appreciate that. And I think a lot of people have lost that, particularly now. And I'm just telling you, it's all going to clear up, and we're going to get back to whatever that normal is for you, to where there aren't a plethora of jobs where you can go get a job, whatever you want to do, and it's going to get back to a semblance.
I agree. If you need this job, to attend to your basic needs, then you are in a position, assuming your employer is not harassing you and underpaying you.
Sure.
Right. Then you are in a position of exactly what you just said. Thank you, because I don't even care what it is. I need this to fulfill my basic needs. I got to put food on the table. I get that. And I totally agree with you that if you can't put food on the table, if you can't pay your rent, then it doesn't matter what you're freaking doing. Do anything. Yep. Do anything you can. And that's where the whiny part comes in. If you're complaining, I don't like this, I don't want to do this, and you can't pay your rent, shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to sort of the next level. Yeah. If you can pay your rent, and there are 3 different opportunities to pay your rent,
sure,
then you're in a position to leave one for the other. But what you still owe the person is they gave you that job. You earned that job. You owe them the respect of leaving in a way that's appropriate, just like, I had this conversation yesterday, just like the person who's firing you should fire you with compassion, unless you stole all the money from them, should fire you with compassion, should fire you with honesty, and should fire you in a direct person to person.
Yeah.
There is nothing more wimpy from a leadership standpoint.
Unless your ass ain't coming to work.
Yes.
I'm firing because you never show up here.
But there's nothing more wimpy from a leadership standpoint than when the leader picks somebody else to go fire them.